So I'm off the Florida Trail and back walking a route I walk most every morning near home just to stay in shape. Not rain nor snow nor sleet nor hail shall keep me from my rounds. The weather is a tad bit different here than in Florida. So I just wanted to talk more about quitting the hike. I really stopped in Palatka because it was so much easier there to get back to Sanford, where I had to fly out of. So walking back to Palatka, I could catch the Amtrak train, which took me to downtown Orlando. There I caught I think it's called the Sun Rail, another train that took me up to Sanford. Then I could catch a couple of buses and then walk a few miles to the airport and sleep in a chair all night. Catch an early flight. So I really wanted to talk about the Florida Trail. I put it off for years hiking it because I thought it was a ton of road walking, but I really found out it wasn't that bad. I mean, you have to do some pavement pounding around Okeechobee. There are some long highway stretches. There's Orlando if you take the east route like I did. But you can skip all that. And, there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe it'll turn out to be a 900 or 1,000 mile trip instead of 11. But as one of my subscribers once said, nobody's keeping score unless you are, bud. And I think that's good advice. So I hike because I'm looking for solitude and some wilderness, and there's plenty of that on the Florida Trail. And I did try and skip as much highway walking as possible, but then it all depends on how successful you are at hitchhiking. When you get to Orlando, you can just jump on a bus and skip Orlando. That's not a problem at all. But it's a great trail, lots of wildlife. This was a wet year. They called it a wet dry season. But I think it kind of added to my enjoyment of the trail. A lot of people had foot issues because it was wet, but I found it very interesting, to say the least. And I really didn't have any foot issues, but I was wet a lot. And there's a lot of muddy sections too. But every year could be different. You might hit it in a normal year and most of that trail will be dry. Again, I had to come home because of medical issues in the family, but I will go back. In fact, I'm really thinking, I've met some trail maintenance people in the south, and I think they're going to do a project at Kissimmee Prairie in October. And so if everything works out, I'd like to go and work on that project with them. I think it's a week or so at Kissimmee Prairie, and then go back north where I left off in Palatka and finish the trail. So hopefully that's all going to work out. So if you watch my videos, I'm always changing things up, trying new things, and it's no different coming off the Florida Trail. In the last year I've done the Arizona Trail, the Colorado Trail, now the Florida Trail, and every time I've come home from one of those trips, I change things. Not just gear, but method, how I do things, where I carry things. And so in the next few videos, I'd like to talk about all those things. I'd like to talk about tents, umbrellas, this Grail water filter I carried, and why am I, somebody who hardly has ever filtered water in the past, even though I've tried them all, I found them so inconvenient. Why would I carry a 1 pound water filter now? I bought that because of the iffy water in Florida. It takes out heavy metals, pesticides, herbicides. I was so glad that I had that filter in Florida. And so I'm going to talk about, if I'm going to keep carrying it, why I would even consider doing that. And, my videos aren't to tell you what to buy or what to carry. My videos and my book, PACKTOTER's Thru-Hiking Manual, is basically to make you think about all your buying decisions, all your carrying decisions. I'm like a yo-yo dieter. I get heavy, then I go on a diet, start tossing stuff. And it's a constant flux. I think the Florida Trail hike, I was probably carrying, 2 or 3 pounds more than I usually carry. And I'll talk about that too. A lot of that was electronics. So I start this YouTube channel on the Colorado Trail. I find that GoPro and I think, oh cool, I fix it, it was broken, and I start carrying it. And then I decide, well, it's got terrible battery life, so I better buy 2 or 3 batteries for it. And I just really found that after using it for 6-8 months, I don't get that much footage from it. The only time I needed it really on the Florida Trail was when that panther jumped in front of me and went up the trail for 30 seconds ahead of me. And I thought I was videoing it, and come to find out, coming through the Big Cypress Swamp, I'd used it so much, once leaving it on, not even knowing it was on, and got 2 hours worth of footage I didn't need. The SD card was full and the battery was dead. So that, you won't see that in my videos anymore, riding here on my pack, because I'll seldom carry that unless I have a need for it, other than, doing hiking videos. So electronics, my electronics got pretty heavy, and do I need that? I shoot everything on a phone. Basically, I need a phone and some charging blocks. So I'm changing that. But I want to go over all that in these next future videos and talk about, like my tent. I'm going to talk about the Hilleberg tent. I can say, honestly, that, and I've hiked a lot of long trails, done a lot of other backpacking, I don't think I've ever seen anyone else with a Hilleberg tent. And that makes me the minority. And why? I guess Hilleberg doesn't market to the backpacking community. I don't know, but to me it's like the perfect tent. And I'll talk about the Hilleberg, and I'll compare it to, I think there's like 4 ranges of tents. You've got 4-pound tents, 3-pound tents, 2-pound tents, and 16-ounce tents. And why wouldn't everybody just carry a 16-ounce tent? Well, we'll talk about that. So if you consider regular backpacking weight under 30 and lightweight under 20, ultralight under 10, I fall right in the middle of that. I mean, I wouldn't be 19 pounds at my heaviest, and probably not under 15 at my lightest. I kind of fall in the middle of that. But what's more important to me is, am I comfortable carrying what I'm carrying in any conditions, with a week's worth of food and a 1.5 liters of water? If I'm carrying fuel, a fuel canister, I still want to be around that 25, 26 pound weight, and I usually am. So I carry heavier gear than most people carry. This Hilleberg tent's 41 ounces. It's not 16. My rain gear is almost a pound. It's not Dyneema, Saran wrap, or anything else that a lot of people carry. Very little in those categories. I carry an umbrella. Do I need it? Yeah, I think I do. Now this pound in a water filter system, do I need that? Like I say, we're going to talk about that. But again, when you're trying to figure this stuff out for yourself, it's going to take some experience. And if you're out there on the trail, and I've been there, 40 years ago, I didn't think I'd be backpacking for much longer because there wasn't all this lightweight gear, and I'd stop halfway up the mountain going, wow, is this fun or not? And now I never have those feelings. I like I said, I can walk all day and very comfortable. It's pretty amazing all the new gear that's out here. And when I talk about my tent being heavy, I think I started with a canvas tent. So it's all perspective too. Anyway, I want to talk about all those things, and I hope that you'll watch. Keep smiling.